Dr. David Klee has over 30 years experience as both a teacher of the flute and as a professional musician. He has performed in all kinds of musical organizations, ranging from classical orchestras to heading his own jazz group, the Jazz Express. With these Pro Minute video series, Dr. Klee will share some of his secrets with you on how to become a better flutist. Hello everyone, my name is Dr. David Klee and welcome to another Pro Minute. I recently had somebody write into me asking for more alternate fingerings, particularly up in the third octave. So I thought today we might take a little more in-depth look at some of these alternate fingerings that are out there. Keep in mind, whenever you use an alternate fingering, chances are it will affect the timbre of the tone. So depending upon the particular situation you're in, you may or may not be able to use some of these because of the timbre. It may not just be applicable to whatever you're trying to do musically. But on the whole though, a lot of times this will help a lot. So let's just take a first stab here. Coming up on your screen right now is your basic high D. Of course you know how to finger that, as you can see. It's a nice open bright sound. The problem with that, what if you need to sharpen that? Well, there is an alternate fingering that's coming up so you can see that. That's where you add your A flat finger and your first finger in your right hand. So it is a little sharper. Now what I'll do, I'll play the basic, the regular D fingering, and the very sharp fingering back and forth, and you hear it. Here's basic. So as you can see, it does affect the timbre, so depending on the particular situation whether these would work or not. Alrighty, let's take a look at the next one coming up, which is E flat. Of course, your basic E flat is everything down. Now let's look at the alternate fingering for it, particularly if you need to sharpen it. You leave your left hand down, but raise your right hand and add your second trill key. So here's the regular, here's the altered. As you can see, the timbre is very different and it's also very sharp. So, you know, a particular situation, this might help you. Alrighty, coming up on your screen now is E. Here's your basic E fingering. Now let's look at the E fingering that will help to make it sharper. This is where you add that second trill key. So here's without, here's with. It is considerably sharper, so I'll play them back and forth. So depending upon your scenario, you know, you could use one or the other. Now occasionally, that high E can be very sharp, and here's a way to lower it. As you can see coming up on your screen, just release your pinky finger. I'll put it with the pinky down and then I'll raise it. You'll hear it both ways. Here's with. Here's without. Now I'll go back and forth. That's actually considerable, and you would really see a difference on a tuner. Alright, coming up on your screen right now is F. Let's take a look at F. A regular high F fingering, here it is. Now to flatten it, there is a way you just add your ring finger in the right hand. So here's without, here's with, and now I'll play them back and forth. You may not think that's a lot, but it is. On a tuner, that could be, what, 5, 10, 15 cents on a tuner. That's really considerable. Alrighty, now coming up on your screen now is G, high G. Take a look at that. Here's the standard fingering. Now what you do on that, if you want to really flatten it, you add the 3 fingers of the right hand. So here's with them added. Now what I'll do, I'll flip-flop back and forth between the regular G fingering and the altered G fingering to make it flatter. Again, that is considerable. But depending upon your situation, you may need to do that. Alright, let's take a look at the next one coming up, which is high A flat. All right, coming up on your screen right now is the note high A flat 3. Here's your regular high A flat. Alrighty, and now the alternate fingering for this to make it flatter is add 2 and 3 of the right hand as you see on your screen. Now what I'll do, I'll flip-flop back and forth between the two fingerings again. And as you can hear, there is a considerable difference. And so a lot of times on a high A flat, particularly an ensemble, I'll double check that all the flute players are playing with those two fingers down there, really, because it's very, very sharp. Alrighty, let's go to A, high A3. The standard A fingering is now up on your screen. Now, if you need to make it flatter, you add the ring finger in the right hand. And some of these will add more resistance when you do that, and so you have to compensate with your embouchure. Okay, now I'm going to flip-flop back and forth. I'll start without, then I'll add it. You can hear again how much it alters the pitch. Alrighty, let's go to B flat. There's actually two fingerings that are used out there a lot. Probably the most common fingering is the one I'm showing you right now. It's kind of the standard fingering. I'll play it. Alrighty, and now coming up is what I call the flatter version of high B flat. You just add your first finger to the left hand. Subtle, but it's there. Now what I'll do, I'll start with the basic and I'll go back and forth, and you should hear where the basic is a little sharper than the flatter one. Just a little bit, but it might be enough to really make a difference in a particular situation. Alright, the last series of notes to take a look at, let's look at high B, B4. The regular fingering is up on your screen. Okay, now the flatter version has just come up on your screen, and I'll play that for you. And as you can hear, it's considerably flatter. Now what I'll do, I'll start with the basic high B and I'll alternate back and forth so you can hear the difference in pitch. So as you can see, these alternate fingerings can be very effective in a particular situation where you really got to try to sort of zero in on the pitch. But keep in mind, if you don't use the proper embouchure for the third octave, you remember you have your lower range, your middle range, and the higher range. The highest range is where the embouchure is the most relaxed, it's the most spread out, and it's almost like you're saying Winnie the Pooh. And if you're still playing tight, what's going to happen, just because you're playing tighter, like in the middle range embouchure, you're using it in the third octave, what will happen, you're going to sharpen your entire third octave 10, 15, 20 cents on a tuner. And these alternate fingers will not help you at all. So always try to remember, a great way to practice that third octave is just I'm going to play F on the staff and go up, and watch my embouchure. Now by relaxing like I did for the third octave, I've got the third octave embouchure. And then if I need to add these, I'm in great shape. I really am. Okay, one more item you can do here. Occasionally, you've got your head joint set right for A440, you're using the proper embouchure, you're even using these alternate fingers, and you still can't get the pitch where it needs to be, particularly if it's sharp. A last resort I do is this. Let's say if I'm going to go play a high E natural, I'll actually dip the flute just a tiny bit and use my ear to play it, like. I'll do it again. And you know, as a last resort, that's a great way to get the pitch in tune. And so hopefully, about what we've talked about today, you have now more of an arsenal to work with to help you get and play more in tune. This is Dr. David Klee. Until next time, I wish you the best, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.